RRQ versus Fnatic.
It does not matter what happened regionally, what matters now for Fnatic and RRQ is if they can make a lower bracket run, and that starts right here.
RRQ struggled against a slow, macro-heavy team in Wolves, but it was their debut on stage for a very young team who is new to this global level as A5. Fnatic, they're going to be a tough opponent, but they have to put their all into it now.
I think that's an important thing that you bring up. It is RRQ's first time here coming on the stage, so I almost feel like you could come into this game with a nothing-to-lose mentality. Let's just have some fun. While for Fnatic, there's so much pedigree behind that name that falling flat into an 0-2 back on the stage, it's not something that they want.
If I had a penny for every time I rage in the OMEN map select, I will have 2 pennies because I really was convinced that Fnatic are going to pick Icebox, considering RRQ have already showed it here.
Yeah, and they looked rough on that Icebox as well. But I imagine it will have been a focus, and Fnatic is excellent at, I think their split, Lotus and Icebox are all world-class maps, so I don't get it either, but I'm sure there is a reason, there is a read.
They're also a prep-heavy team. They like the VODs, they like to counter-strat, and there is already a VOD, which it doesn't happen very often in this tournament. So Vansili, they have to start strong and convince us why they pick Lotus.
I'd like to think from Fnatic's camp, the prep going into this game is because they know that most likely you're not going to play a tail comp on the side of RRQ. So what is the next big comp that RRQ has been playing during the kickoff? It's actually trying to mirror Fnatic with the exception of a KJ playing a Vice. So if you're going into that one, it's something that's in the wheelhouse of Fnatic that's always been very good on this map of Lotus.
Yet again, Fnatic having the easiest time of any team coming out of the Teo meta with their pivots because they just didn't play a ton of Teo. Both these maps to start, I would be absolutely shocked if they changed their comp because they were great on both of them in EMEA, and both of them, the meta comp for a while was named after this team.
Yeah, and in the second round of bans, you know, they had 3 choices. They instantly take out the Sunset as well.
Yeah.
You
Get it gone.
Yeah, gone completely. But do you feel like maybe RRQ could have abused that and picked the Sunset for themselves?
Yeah, I would have been interested to see, but I think it was a risk, right? Because they also haven't really played a ton of Sunset. In some ways, when you're in a high-pressure match like this, you don't want to take a huge risk. You want to play more towards comfort, but it just comes down to how good their Haven can actually be against Fnatic.
And I think that's why they took it, because Fnatic just played against Gen G. You were just mentioned before, this is something that Fnatic likes to do, study the tape. That's something that RRQ does a lot
For sure.
here.
But one of the biggest reasons I think Fnatic lost that Haven game was struggling to play into the Viper, which RRQ hasn't been playing. I could see them pivoting into that as they were a Teo team before, but Fnatic's defense was really great on Haven despite losing that.
It was indeed, and it was a really good way for them to start the map, and everything kind of just fell apart in the second half here. But for RRQ though, they're playing into 2 maps that Fnatic love, but the third map, Vansili, is where I think there should be a lot of chances for them to maybe pull off an upset.
See, the thing is for me, that's where I'm a little bit scared. I still want to go for RRQ, but after seeing the map vetoes and seeing that Ascent is going to be the third map, that's where I'm a little bit worried. The fact that they were able to hold some pretty good defense against Wolves, because Wolves had such good util around the deadlock to play against them, then that's where maybe Fnatic should be able to take this. So looking at the veto process,
I think it's the other way around.
I think Fnatic did it. They won the veto on their side.
I agree with Vansili.
Really?
I think if we get to map 3, I really want to see Jemkin change up his style a little bit. He struggled on that map last time, but here we go. Agent select for Lotus, Fnatic. No surprises, of course.
Yeah, they've only ever played 2 comps in the history of Lotus, and they're just going to stick to it. Crashies, I know you're trolling.
Yep, and for the side of RRQ, it looks like they are going to change into just the Fade here. This is basically the same exact comp that Fnatic is running. Only difference, of course, is playing the Vice instead, who I think is super viable on this map and does add a lot to your defense.
And that's why at kickoff, they were 0-3 on this map of RRQ with this composition, which is why I think Fnatic was still quite comfortable to play on this map. They're tried and true for their side, mirror matchups against with the Fade, and then you just kind of know how the map is being played when you're just not going to play against a Vice or a KJ. Everything else stays identical in terms of, you know, the slow pace default towards C, try to get your lurks towards the A side, so Fnatic definitely knows how to play against that.
Yeah, I'm looking at Cushy here. He was playing the Sova mostly in the first series that RRQ played and was really good on that role. For Vice here, he has a lot of agency when he's on defensive side to make plays, to hard hold down that C site. You expect greatness from him.
It is my great honor to introduce to you your casters for this match. It is a real treat. We don't get this one very often. Give it up for Pansy and Kukuka.
Yeah, thank you so much. A bit of a surprise. Mike looking better than ever. So I am very pleased to be joined by you here, Bea. But
love to be the side chick in this relationship.
Okay, you put me on the spot instantly. But let's kind of focus in on this because we do have an elimination here, right? Between these two, that first seed curse has been working wonders, right? Everyone seems to be suffering. But what's your takeaway from that first game when we saw both of these teams make their debuts?
Yeah, when I look at the side of RRQ, I have to echo the words that Mimi was saying. I think that Cushy played a very big part, and especially moving on to Lotus with them starting on the attack, this Vice is going to be very important because unlike the Cypher, unlike the Killjoy, you do not have a utility that is going to tell you someone is in the back besides that wall. And that can be triggered so easily from the side of Fnatic. But both of the teams can start very carefully on that one, on this one, especially Fnatic with how slow they were yesterday and whatnot. Feel like they want to test the field.
I already like this though from Fnatic, getting proactive over towards Mount, taking space here, the exchange of goods almost. Yeah, rubble's not ours, so we're going to lean over this way, clear through B main. So a nice beginning, but RRQ's pace is tempered. They're taking their time. They're not in a particular hurry.
I want to see how this change in the composition is going to affect the way the RRQ have been playing. Crazy Guy finds the first 2 kill onto Alvier and Chronicle, but Boaster gets the response.
Yeah, the third just felt a little too far away. Xfero just catching crashies. And this is huge though. Kayak and Boaster aren't going to be pleased about this, but Kayak's done brilliantly thus far, but gets outgunned. This is the start that RRQ would be dreaming about. Now we ask a big question. The main man himself, can he lead by example? A 1v3, a lot to ask for. Sheriff to hand. And a glance left and right. The first couple of steps, almost the deadliest. This cross is in place on the contact. Jemkin more than able to do it. And a good, comfortable start for RRQ.
Yeah, Fnatic that definitely wanted to fight. We saw a lot of Sheriffs going onto that pistol round. And that definitely was a pain point for Fnatic yesterday. Yes, they managed to win like 3 out of the 6 that they played. But in 2 of those, they lost the next round. So it's not looking good. Definitely some of the homework that they need to do if they get back to EMEA. Maybe they can start a little bit earlier today. But for RRQ, being patient, finding the kills, finding the space, and a very quick response if they're pushing and putting all of these numbers in C. Of course, A is going to be very weak.
So, can they continue this? I'd like to see what RRQ looks like with some more confidence. It was a brutal start for them. But Fnatic, once again, being proactive here, and why not in this round? A lot of classics, and an isolated player, a good reward, at least a Sheriff to be found, but you can see the trade-off here, straight towards C-site. RRQ, not really too fussed now, a good idea of where Fnatic are.
Yeah, exactly, and leaving Xfero in the back just with the Sheriff. No weapon is going to be found for the side of Fnatic. 4 classics to play for this retake. Kayak has already taken the long round. It's going through CT. Still, all the utility from the Vice is already in play, and RRQ should have a very easy time closing this round.
And should is always the primary word, but I agree with you. They do have these 3 rifles that they really can't afford to lose those. They need to keep these, and they need to stay clean in this round. Fnatic would love to make it a bit more costly, trying to lock them into the site at the very least, but time to slip forward. Crazy Guy still farming up. Monyet as well, going to find Boaster, and all so far so good. It's that one loss of a gun that could cost them here. Crazy Guy does go down. I don't think that can be particularly gathered. Kayak going to go for a wild play. And now they just need to back away. So 2 rifles making it out there, the Guardian and the Vandal on Jemkin.
Yeah, comfortable so far for RRQ. Again, being fast on those reactions, getting into good positions for the post plans. Monia being ready with that paranoia. Even though he was playing with one of the rifles, still very good position. He can react to all the utility that all the team can use onto that. We also saw the Vice flash. So very comfortable for them. By the way, the next map is Haven. I would love to see Monia on a duelist. I think it's about them time.
I'm with you in that, but I want to see them get there well. I want to see this team show that potential. There was a lot of talk about RRQ leading up to this,
This is a classic. Boaster with the Odin.
I'm having a little
Lane
look
on
towards
tree.
Kayak.
I think I've seen this film before.
It's the corner that's going to be costly if he sticks around too long, but he plays it well enough. Gets to slip away. You can see again patience being shown by RRQ here, kind of going through the paces of this map. The protocol list looks reinforced here.
Yeah. One of the things that I was seeing about RRQ is this later takes onto A, struggling a little bit to fight at the beginning of the round. And Boaster's ready, trying to deal some damage. Has already taken a bit.
Again, from their previous matchup, in my mind, I was looking a lot towards Jemkin, at least, with the entries and how he was faring in that. And it was a bit rough for him. He wasn't able to find his footing. This could be a much better game for him.
What do you think about the teams not giving the Vandal to the? Well, he's low on HP right now, so we're just gonna give it the Sheriff.
Yeah, that's completely reasonable. But again, they do need to handle Boaster here to an extent. They can't allow him too much freedom throughout this game, but
a lot of
forced to
faking.
respect it.
You see the paranoia, the TP, all that noise. Fnatic set to respect that. But the movement from RRQ already ready to enter C.
But that was very telling. Kayak noting the player crossing back through. It steadies the ship. Ready's Chronicle to receive, and Jemkin goes down. He was the player lowered down, though, on HP. This is still a bonus round, but it's invested, so there is cost to this. And speaking of things that are running out, is time. 15 seconds, and Crash. X-Furrow, you nutter! Clears Crashies like he's nothing, and they've got a plant. Suddenly we're down to a 4v4 post-plant, and RRQ are back in the driving seat.
Yeah, Boaster with that Odin is not going to have an easy time. Crazy guy that found the perfect timing to go on through Hobbit and support the rest of the team.
I like what Cushy's doing, though, playing that a little bit disconnected. It does open up risk, but they've got the support, at least for now. Cushy gets cleared quickly by Alpha, who needs an upswing in performance, but Monient's response is get proactive. Fight back towards CT. Kayak comes into the building, though. And now down to just Crazy Guy, a 1v3, not able to stand the test. A necessary round for Fnatic.
Yeah, and it's so important for them that even in that 4v4 with the time maybe running against them as the spike was going down and all the utility and no information onto where RRQ were playing after having a very strong rounds for those post plans, is having that patience. You still have a lot to work with. It doesn't matter, that crazy kill onto Crashies. But Kayak, yesterday, he was marvelous, wonderful on his debut, especially on Haven. At least good for two on most of the rounds. Good job, Chronicle is saying. Another player that should be comfortable for today.
Yeah, this is the round, though. I'm looking at Crazy Guy
no,
as
it's
well.
Crashies. They're just going to be swapping around the Odin.
Ult's there for Crazy Guy early, so if they have a set piece in mind they'd like to run, they at least have that as an option. Alpha, Kev, that was a little bit too risky for me. Alpha out on a limb. Could have been punished, wasn't, and there's the instantaneous ult. It's quick. They're not really pulling their punches, and we're complementing the pacing, but now Alpha's going to punish Moniet on the cross-up. Spike's still hesitant to commit through here, but now will be making its way.
Yeah, we saw at the beginning of this game, RRQ taking those ores, farming this ultimate, but Fnatic knows how to play around it. The spike is going to go down, but they're very ready. Cushy finds the first one.
Planted.
Now, the next layer, the next step, Chronicle catches Jemkin, and we're down to 2. The flank feels almost out of place, but it might be the heroics they need, but they're dwindling in numbers. Only one alive, and Chronicle's awareness is just too good. Fnatic keeping 4 standing. A big reply here to the early start from RRQ.
Yeah, the spike is going down, but these post plans are just not as effective. When you see a Fnatic on the other side that seems to have recovered that confidence that in so many occasions yesterday was missing. All that utility to come in, preventing RRQ from having an easy time onto the side. And Fnatic also taking on the opportunity to break the tempo, to not let them take those positions. We know how difficult it can get for any team to retake on C.
This is where it truly begins. See that depth of RRQ, the frustrations, I'm sure.
And the dances.
Of course.
It's just like being home.
Don't pull out the headset, though, please. I really, don't need a pause this early, mate. Let's keep it calm. But, okay, Stinger's coming out. Judges there, so a couple of bits and pieces to look out for. How are they gonna... I mean,
you know they've been playing the Odin. Are you sure you want to do this?
Oh, Kayak. Potential to farm here. Just has to wait. Chronicle sells them down the river! Kayak leaves them without a paddle! And it's just perfect! Happy to make those plays and confidence builders for the main man on the stage.
Absolute flawless round for the side of Fnatic. Yes, It wasn't the biggest investment for RRQ, and there was definitely an idea to show a little bit of face on A, maybe drag some attention from Fnatic, but Chronicle and Kayak were ready for this aggression on to B. Timeout now being requested. It is time to slow things down.
Skaya, good job, boy.
Oh, yeah. They were speaking about the vibes. Crashy said that they were immaculate, that they were better than ever, despite the loss from yesterday. It's definitely telling.
Yeah, it is. And again, this is kind of the, I guess, polar opposites in play here as well. When we talk about the big leagues coming out to these stages, you got one of the big teams against you. Fnatic has a very wealthy history of that, even coming off the back of a loss. You're looking at what people were referencing as like, you know, that Shanghai nightmare before, facing Gen G, dropping into the lowers, and then obviously we all know what happens up against Foot, right? The ridiculous happened. But Fnatic, again, when we're talking about the composure capability there, the fact that they've been in these scenarios, they can fight through it. Now, for RRQ, this is the first time they're taken to these sort of stages. The pressure is tenfold. It's not easy. So a nice early pause here.
Especially when you're still, like, there's the question of, did you really deserve that first seed? We were just in a crazy run. Especially with how Gen G is looking, you can be like, oh my god. And HyperX as well.
But would you say that about
strong teams?
G2?
Listen, Lauren.
Yeah?
G2 played amazing. Did you not see the first match?
I'm a G2
Leap was
fan.
close in everything. That
I'm a
man was
G2 fan.
awesome.
But...
Yeah, and you are right. You're a Potter fan and you're a G2 fan, and you're right for that, Lauren.
Trashies, are we farming here? This again, this Odin in play has been something that we know is
Crazy Guy's ready to respond.
Really frustrating. They do need to find the reaction to it, which I said maybe Crazy Guy doing this. So they found a way forward, right? They've made it at least towards rubble. That's something. It's a step in the right direction.
Again, this is vintage from Fnatic, just playing from tree with this Odin. We've seen it a million times. It was definitely not Crashes carrying it.
Nah.
Aww.
The bromance.
Expecting a bit of damage, at least, you know?
Exchange here between the two. Picks up the mantle.
Booster takes it, so Crashes can start throwing some utility.
Ooh, the timing on this, though, actually not good. Booster left completely adrift there. Flash in hand and they're punished. Crazy Guy unleashing. Now, they've got to know there's still a player towards that A side. They've got to know there's one towards door. They've got a good read on these positions early.
Yeah, we're speaking about it being vintage. That is probably one of the responses and one of the adjustments that RRQ made for this round. Let's fight for bubble. Let's grab their attention and let's force some duels. Now leading them into this 4v3. Xfero also with his ultimate. If they get to that post-plant position, it could be looking very good for RRQ.
Now, I like this pause. It's good. It gives you a chance to get a bit of a punish, but you are going to have to start moving, maybe depending on the lurk. Maybe banking, you're going to get passed out, but he holds down well, but a good trade. Then Crashies plays it forward. 20 seconds now. It's getting down to the wire. The lurk's going to be an issue, but Crashies holding on so well. And Cushy, noted, found, killed, Fnatic. In all that chaos, looking composed.
And this is another layer for the comfort, getting those trades. You are already forcing that very close-out fight. We need the confidence to go one after the other. Crashies dodging that ice from the Fate perfectly, just pushing at the right time, especially when the other player is playing the Odin. It's going to take a little while to get that gun out. A lot of players standing up on stage today.
And I'm genuinely very happy to see Crashies having a good performance here. His return to form has been
absolutely
meteoric near on. It's been outstanding. So for him, happy to see that. Obviously, a lot of stars aligning. And for RRQ, going to need to see a fight back now. This is starting to feel like a bit of a drought of rounds. Fnatic's starting to look more and more comfortable, more and more confident. You don't want to see that if you're RRQ. You need to break back in.
We see Kayak playing with the Outlaw for this round. Of course, the economy not being the best for RRQ. This is one of the rounds that you can definitely take advantage. One bullet to any of the players on the other side, and they are gone, Lauren.
Yeah, and again, though, if you're looking at this, RRQ will have a lot of ults. I want to see them utilize them well. I don't want it just thrown out with a small chance of a win. I need to see them kind of build around that. A big opportunity, maybe in the coming round with a good purchase behind it. It'd be fantastic to see. However, patience now being displayed. Slow and steady.
Focusing on getting the orbs, as you're saying, thinking about the next round. Almost everything is going to be available for RRQ. Man, that Odin's broken. It barely does any damage.
But this is keeping a lot of Fnatic players here. 3 players on the site. Now, again, we can see where the others reside. Alpha is out towards CT, but it's Kron again, just punishing. Monyette's gone down. They're not getting given many chances. Look how far they have to dig to even get a fair fight on any of these Fnatic players. Don't give up the site, but there's a lot of players spotted. It's so clean.
Spike down, C.
Crazy guy. Xfero,
Player standing.
there's just nothing landing for him here. Nah, it is done for. Fnatic up to 5, a flawless round to get there as well. I need RRQ to hit the ground running in this round coming.
Absolutely. Only 2 rounds in the board, and as you can see on your screens right now, it was the pistol and the next one. Nothing found in this rifle round. Fnatic also very knowing what parts of the map each person is in charge of. The movement that Chronicle is having today, the confidence that we're seeing, and the right moment into when to take some fights, when to back off and wait for the rest of the team. We saw like at least a couple of flawless rounds, and yesterday we saw a Fnatic that was barely putting a round together.
Okay, this time though, look at the fight, look at the adjustment. Both are playing over towards
So many ultimates.
Yeah, backed away from this.
On both sides.
Yeah, I did notice that Fnatic got theirs as well, so a lot of counters here. This could get messy. Let's take note of what we've seen though. 0 pressure across the map, not a default by any means by RRQ, right? So you've got an exploration already happening for Kayak with that operator, deeper line. The battle for tree begins, the battle of spam is going to continue. Door gets open. Boaster needs to respect this though. The Prowler behind it. Fnatic need to be careful because they are at the door, maybe not believing the amount of bodies here. It's an explosion, literally. Jemkin takes away Boaster. Crashes tries to play it forward. He's still denying that there's any crosshair. He gets called out to Alpha. They're coming back. It's a 1-for-1 trade, but RRQ are dropping these bodies. Whoa! He's so quick! Flies through and finds him in the heels. And now they're locked in with them. A quick TP taken, gets him out of dodge for Monyet. He's on the other side of the map. There's the layering of these ults coming in.
All of them actually coming. That Viper's Pit guaranteeing the plant and maybe an easier position. This from Monyet is not going to find anything. Fnatic getting all together. And Kaya going in with the Odin. Everything is out for the side of RRQ. Vice ultimate coming onto play. Only those secondary weapons for Fnatic.
This surely is it for RRQ. This is a great reaction. It's a heavy investment. They've even got a nice disconnected position from Monyet. He sees nothing towards this playback in from CT. It's going to all come through the choke point. It's time to go. Crashy's still going to get down Cushy. 2v2. Time, though, starting to fade away here. I think they know it as well. It's taken a great deal for RRQ, but they've managed to find a response here, Bea. It took basically everything they had.
Yeah, exactly. They still have Crazy Guy's ultimate for next round if they want to use it, but it has not been easy at all. A lot coming into this round. They knew that they had to be patient, taking the space for them to use the proper ultimates. Kayak, yesterday we did not see him with the operator, probably because Fnatic did not have enough credits to even purchase it.
Nice, guys.
Definitely should be a change for today. So important as well, the way that they played that post line with Xfero. Yes, they were in his ultimate, but he had to be outside of that fight for that post line to be successful.
That was 4 ults, though. That was everything near on. Yes, there's still Crazy Guys, but look at this off position. Yeah, it's stunning. Kayak gonna get away with the first. Jemkin punished, and he's had a quiet first half here.
I am so sad that we do not get to see the Icebox from Fnatic and see Kayak on top of any wall with the operator. But maybe we'll get there. Opener for them, and Jemkin is out.
Yeah, what's the plan now? They've lost the tip of the spear. So they kind of fall back.
I need this to get a kill eventually. Either way, I don't care.
Fair enough. As it stands, just a frustration, really, forced to be respected, and curiosity starting to mount, though. Lovely work of synergizing that, at least with the Fade Eye going through. Going to confirm there's still attendance over on this side.
Yeah, and after the pause, we've seen RRQ just going for A-hits most of the time, just fighting for rubble at the beginning of every round.
Oh, all of this just for Boaster, and he's still alive. They still haven't cleared him. He's still standing. Someone kill him. Finally goes down. But the brother-in-arms swings back in. Xfero falls, and now Crashy's once in on this side. He's damn close. Okay, forced to give away a little bit of the position and slow down from maybe springing forward, but catching Cushy trying to take some space. They don't look comfortable in this post plant now.
Yeah, Alpha using his ultimate. It's not going to go down. And it's only Crazy Guy to defend this post plant. Already opening the door. They know where he is, and he's going to lose his weapon. Alpha doesn't care. Closes out the round. Chronicle diffusing. He's gonna half it, probably just give it to another one of his teammates. Still, RRQ after that pause, just going for A hits most of the time, just fighting for rubble. They've been dodging Kayak and that operator. Oh, they thought they were.
Yeah, I'm a bit worried that they're running out of steam here.
It's too early for that, isn't it, Lauren?
It should be, but again, they're finding no easy solution to having anyone to clear out whoever's going to be sat with that Odin on tree, right? Yeah, it's
You're the guy.
comfy.
You're the man. You're the man.
Literally, it looks comfortable for Fnatic, and I'm glad they've used both timeouts here because, again, it's been Boaster or potentially on occasion why it was Crashy sat there as well with it, but they haven't found a way to clear that out without using what? There was a veto on it. There was everything put to this.
I think the most important part is that they are clearing out. They do get to kill the person that is in tree. The problem is the second layer that they have not been able to find a solution to. It looks like A is not the kind of side that Fnatic is more down to play for the retake because they want to fight their opponents as they walk onto the side. So maybe it's time to change the plan. Hey guys, maybe we've been too focused onto A, but even though this is just the first half and this is RRQ's second timeout, they need to get back into the game. They've only won one rifle round and that has to change.
Yeah, this is looking like Fnatic have a lot to prove here, really. After the loss to Gen G, I think a lot of us kind of walked away, though, I don't say expecting it, but Gen G looked one of the most lethal teams during Swiss, right? Like, I think that's a really fair assessment. Those guys look like they could do a deep run. Anyone who doubts that,
they said it yesterday. Like, I think it was Munchkin that said, anyone that didn't pick us as a team to fight, they're cowards. And he said that was cold.
That is actually so cool.
Chronicle 9-2.
Yep. Kayak up
no
there.
Wonder he's smiling, telling everybody that they're great.
I mean, nothing's really hindered them. Wait and see RRQ's response. Again, this was the double timeout in the first half, so putting everything into it, pretty much. Viper's Pit instantly put down towards the C site. That's just going to be Chronicle basically closing the door. You want this, you got to put a whole lot to it yourself. Now, Sparrow.
Oh, no. He found a kill. He found a kill with the Odin.
Yeah, but
do we take that?
But I think that kind of sums up a lot of what we're seeing. This feels flat. It feels like it's flat lining for RRQ, and it's devastating, right? We know that these guys are very good. We know how good Jemkin was. We know how much people are hyping this team up. Even yesterday,
Absolutely.
You look at Cushy, he was doing great. You're looking at some of the players, even in the loss, you're like, okay, there's a lot here. But today, it feels like it's compounded.
I think that maybe one of the things that we've been missing is xFaroe doing what he was doing just now, just being a little bit more on the alert, trying to find something.
Oh, and all they find is that Chronicle putting on a clinic.
Is this the third flawless round for Fnatic just in this half? 12-2 currently for Chronicle. Definitely these better performances and this impact that Kayak keeps finding with the operator, something, as I was mentioning, was not there yesterday.
Nothing's perfect.
So I was saying the economy, of course, with all of this rounds for Fnatic is not looking good for RRQ. Desperation on their faces. How do you get back into this? 2 more rounds for their attack. And Fnatic has a lot to play with.
They do. They really, really do. Still have the ults here.
Oh, Chronicle with the operator. I'm so down for this.
Okay, that's maybe not what even I expected, but it kind of baits them in as well. You'll think that's going to be Kayak, so again, he can have impact with that ultimate elsewhere.
Oh.
And they don't clear Alpha. And look at his confidence. He overstays on this, willing to fight out. There was no getting out of there, it felt like, but still, a 1-for-1 trade. Cushy gone. And down to this 4v4.
Very similar plan as what we saw in the previous round. Just go in for that mount control, maybe fight for those orbs, trying to get something going, especially for that last round and whatever you could use for this one. Crashes is so ready with this Odin. Oh, this could be a lot of damage.
Certainly could be. Boaster ready, everything there. Look at the state of them, trying to back away. Boaster actually getting a bit hungry for this. And Kayak going hunting too. They've got no idea. Oh, Kayak! He's on one today!
Down,
Phenomenal performance already. And RRQ looking down in the doldrums here, Bayer. This is a hard performance to come back on into that second half. I wanted to see them maybe have a bit of life in these final rounds, but they're not getting past that first hurdle.
30 seconds left.
xFaroe still with 30 seconds left. He needs to try and save this weapon. Of course, Fnatic, with a huge bank and nothing to lose, apparently, should go hunting for him.
And it just keeps compounding the problems, right? This makes it feels like that you can't breathe. It's like a weight on your chest here, and RRQ are feeling the full force of Fnatic. 8-3. It's a strong showing, pulling no punches now.
Hey, RRQ has one more chance in this attack to get around, but the pressure for Fnatic has been wonderful. I would have liked, though, for Boaster to be the one having the Odin and Crashes to be sending in the utility. Maybe that Seize and the Odin could have been the death of at least 2 of the RRQ players. But Kayak, and now he goes on the rifle. He has his ultimate. Chronicle back on that operator. And it looks like RRQ want to go for this rubble control for the last round of their attack.
And the Odin is still here, this time obviously in the hands of Crashies. Has to respect it for now. Could assess the fact that there's already been maybe a cross towards rubble now. Wants to confirm that. He calls in the rotations. Already going to see Kayak leaning through towards the door. Boaster passing through CT. Now, this is a show of presence, and they go the other side. Now, they don't know about this, though. Maybe heard this rattle off a shot in the last round, but is that in the forefront of their minds? Chronicle waiting. Eyes locked on this corner. And the patience just falling short. Calls for the one-way, dodges the flash, waits for the Prowler. Couldn't quite find the timing to thread the needle, but now they back away. He's read the next layer to RRQ's approach.
And all of Alphayear's utility is already waiting on C for that second layer. He himself is also supporting. 40 seconds left, and RRQ still has to make a move.
Fnatic have done so well at clearing some of these question marks. That late haunt coming in, just making sure they know the lurk's still in play. Chronicle keeping that deeper line, but Kayak finds his stop. Hello, 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 hello! He's gone down, but Chronicle's found on the other side. The spike! Oh God, Chronicle! It's a massacre over here! Monyet trying to take steps forward, delayed by the util, Alpha in support. There is no easy path. There is no straightforward way through. And for xVero, he's got 10 seconds. And it's certainly not a dream now. 2 kills, yes, but to find the other 3 was never going to happen here. 9-3 Bayer. This has been a statement half from Fnatic.
Yeah, absolutely. They can be more than happy. They're usually on the other end of a 9-3, but you know, we still have the second half to care for. So let's take a small break and we'll see you on the other side.
Face your death, cause you play a roulette with each step. I progress, no less. Go ahead and place your bets, cause we know where we at, we know we top tier. Cause all the hate that you bring, we know it stops there. I'm taking off like a rocket here and stopping here. It's strange how they cannot see the future, but see profit here. Wait up, we gon' always win. Promise that that's not a promise, yeah, that is a threat. You know that I promise to bring the team commas. When the whole team win, that's when you flex. Win, and I'ma do it again. Watch me win, then watch me do it again.
So back here at 9-3, we're going to be checking in on that Coinbase econ report. I'm sure it's going to tell the tale pretty much of what we expect, though, Bayer. A very one-sided look coming in from Fnatic.
Yeah, I want to see the numbers from Chronicle. People barely getting to those double digits. And look at Chronicle with 147.
Yeah.
Well, my main is a 14-2-5. So, yeah, tells the story.
Yeah, he looks lethal today, does old Chron.
I think that on the other side, we need to talk about Jemkin, right?
Yes,
we see that
please.
15, but I think it has to do with the difference between him playing on the Euro on this map and him playing on the Raze. I think that is going to play a very big and important part now that we move on to the defense, because he loved getting aggressive, trying to get a little bit of a pick, put in a little bit of pressure, and then go back with that TP. He's not going to have that facility now. And I wonder what the plan is going to be for RRQ. Yes, they have the Omen, the Viper, and the Vice. They should have, technically, an easy time. Or an easier time.
Yeah, I'll go for easier. Again, though, they did pick up that pistol in the first half. We could either call that a blessing or a curse if you look at the rest of it, but they did pick up the pistol. So maybe this could give them a bit of a stabilizing factor, something to take off the stress here, because you saw by the end of it how aggressive Fnatic were being. It felt like it was trying to prove a point, but early contact made. A little towards B, a little towards C.
Taking a lot of time. The utility's falling down.
Bot coming back.
And there's nothing really stuck. Oh no, be it a mini-map moment. It was a fumble there from Cushy. And that's the gates open. He knew they were there. The flash confirmed it. The early peek confirmed it. And Kayak, he's going hunting. Again, they're going to make this hurt. Fnatic are pulling no punches. We'll say it again. Proactive in every angle. Again, explores CT. A little deeper look towards Waterfall. Any flanks? No. Kron's already got it. They are making RRQ reinvest everything just to clear this close space. Alpha. Again, on red alert down here, but the site's being retaken, but there's no bullets being placed towards Fnatic. Jemkin does draw blood, but there's still 4 more to clear. They've got to get a move on. Got to get towards that spike. Alpha! Sharp as ever. Xfero's gone down, 21 HP, but the time he's buying is precious. 10 made for Fnatic. And it is a brutal beginning for RRQ.
Then finding the kill. 3 people pushing on to C, finding the Vice, getting that first kill. We see Kaya going on the aggression. Alpha waiting in his back, just going with him as well. A bit slower, of course, because race is what it is. But loving this isolating fights. Alpha here just moving like a dream. It's not only the vibes. This team is feeling it.
And I'm just worried that RRQ are crumbling under this. Genuinely, I'm worried because that was... They're looking almost scared in this scenario. Oh, and that's maybe why Kayak's not missing a shot. This shouldn't be much of a round, but the problem is it's going to put Fnatic on 11.
You say that, you should have seen Fnatic versus Genji.
Well, I like this, though. Paint Shell could be big if the timing's right. Maybe it's too late in the day. Surely Monyet. Hello. Oh, a second.
Spike
maybe the
down.
hero they need.
That's
a quick
the spike.
Weapon found. This is huge from him. After a quiet start here, this is dreamy stuff. Wait, sorry, where's Alpha? Someone is looking. I think Xfero's keeping a glance on this. That's really smart. Okay, he's seen him. Alpha. Oh my god, stop. He still takes down Jemkin. That's a 3v2 though. The numbers are good here. Gifted by Monyet on his 3rd.
Spike here.
Knows where the spike is. Fnatic have to come to him. Crashies and Chronicle. Oh my god, come on, Finn. He's taken down Monyet in command here. Crazy guy now filling the void, and they look a bit hesitant about this. 30 seconds, and it's just shooting fish in a barrel. Crazy guy left with just that Marshall popping off shots. He's down to the ghost here. He could back away. He could give them the spike if he wants to. He could fall off from this. He doesn't need to take the fight right now. The drive-by attempted. Oh, it's huge! Crazy guy with the Red Bull clutch. Necessary in this moment.
I do not want to say I spoke it into existence, but Fnatic were struggling with this yesterday. And even though I like the look of them being a little bit faster in this executes, Monian and the rest of RRQ so ready in the C side to stop Fnatic from taking the site.
Just that heartbeat back in. Revitalized by that. Monyet setting that up is everything they could have dreamed of. It opens up a chance. Just a little bit of confidence could give them everything. But Chronicle doesn't want to give them much more. Now, Crazy Guy was like, do you know what you guys are doing? I'll have a bit of that.
Have a taste of your own medicine. He actually finds a couple of kills. 3-3 now.
Cleared, and you can kind of see the shades almost of the protocol list here for Fnatic, even in this sort of round, identifying where that one was going to be, kind of going through the paces, getting the test over towards Rubble. Okay, what's that B site looking like? Cool, let's have a little look towards C.
Yeah.
Everything proactive in this. Does catch. I thought it might have been a bit late, but Cushy's got to be careful. They are ahead of this. Yeah, they are very ahead of this. Crashies from down below. Going to get the reward as well. Yeah, Vandal found. That could be a plant.
Yeah, Guardian and Vandal. Both are going to get that spike down. Of course, RRQ respecting this position.
And if
taking
Boaster
their
goes
time.
towards Mound Bayer, he's had some mad clutches from here.
I think a couple of 3v1s, well,
Yes.
1v3s
Yes.
from his side.
But can Crashies alleviate some of that dodging?
Full pack of
Out of the
utility.
paranoia, he's still here though, and they fight forward! It's Crashies! Oh my god! How have they stolen that? A Mastercard Thrifty! It was meant to be the turnaround for RRQ, and it is crushed!
Back-to-back Thrifties now. We thought that for a second things were looking better for RRQ, but Crashes, he just has a different opinion. He has a different plan for today. He's been having it the entire tournament. Time to stand up.
Nice, come on, boy. You and me, baby. You and me, baby. Him and me. Him and me.
Just get a room.
I-Series
Just get a
Boaster
room.
back at it. Giving it large, but let's look at what the protocols look like here. We were kind of seeing Fnatic going on that fact-finding mission in that previous round. That actually worked out in their favor. Ball's now changed up, though. And a quick rotation from RRQ, looking to try and keep pace here, where Fnatic are kind of hurting towards.
I have the spike.
Would have liked maybe Crashes trying to fight for that orb, having that ult for the execute.
Ooh, what a shot from Monyet.
Spike down.
Those damn stingers, man.
Crashy's head ringing after that one. Monyet's been the one to keep a couple of these rounds competitive, but a 3-play stat. Kayak, you're good, you ain't that good. Ooh, that has cost him a lot. Ball does get cleared.
Surely. Not back-to-back-to-back, right?
You look at this map, again, I love that there's still control on this side, right? You've got Monyet kind of playing it in off maybe the paranoia. Looking to potentially set up, I think it's Crazy Guy over there. Yeah, it is. So Kron, I mean, he shouldn't have been able to get this far. That's my issue. He shouldn't have been able to get this far. Kayak's fallen, but Chronicle's still alive. He's pulling all eyes towards this way. Lurk coming in at the same time from Alpha. This is getting messy. Monyet is down low on HP as well. And Alpha's taken this space. Yes, there's a player nearby, but now has to respect that smoke.
To watch out when they go into the site.
Great from Crazy Guy, though. Nice re-clear here. Tries to swing off it. Good spacing, good trading. This is good from RRQ. 8 seconds now, and Fnatic have found no easy approach. It's Chronicle last alive, and the time has gone from them. RRQ holding on to this, Bayer.
Absolutely. Now back-to-back-to-back. Doesn't matter what you bring into the round, it's more what you do with it. And RRQ, a very good idea of how to play with those stingers. The damage that they can do. Moni, I feel like in this round, we saw him right after the pistol in the eco, him getting a couple of kills, him also feeling himself in finding those first ones.
I mean, Monyet, for me, has been pivotal so far.
Oh, yeah.
He isn't sitting towards the very tip top of the board. That's Crazy Guy. He sat down, you know,
Yeah, but
9-14.
the difference is...
But the value is there.
Totally.
It's been exceptional for him.
Love the fact also we saw Crazy Guy using his ultimate. The round, you know, you can 100% win it. You should definitely invest in that.
And a bit of a, yeah, a pace change here and a punish. Chronicle going to catch Crazy Guy instantly, off the rip.
Really? A lot of Odin in this game.
Yeah.
Almost in every round, I must say.
I mean, and look at the buy that Fnatic have forged around it as well. This is, they've got what they could. Kayak's got a Vandal, you've got a Stinger and a Sheriff.
So here's the thing, now with the men advantage, having Kayak's ultimate and also Crashies to get that information onto the site, you trigger some of Kushi's utility. Are you going to try and go for the C execute again?
But I quite like the deeper wall. I quite like that actually from Cushy here. Wonder if it does pay dividends at this point though.
You're going to think maybe it's on B, they still haven't explored that part of the map.
You can see the Prowler going through that side. You can see maybe it's going to be Crashes testing for it. Yep, doesn't hear it either. So I quite like this adjustment. It is testing the protocols. Because if Kayak does go in, he probably would be alone at this point. Now, it does have the ult if he did want to use that as almost the bulldozering factor, but as it stands, the correct read until this rotation comes out from Fnatic. If they leave this C side of the map, the rest looks very vulnerable there.
Almost 4 players from RRQ already ready on C.
Yeah, everyone they have is on that C side. They believed in it firmly, and it's wrong for now. It looks like it's going to be towards B. That's where the spike is. They've cleared through A. They've also seen nothing. This is getting curious. This should also be setting off some alarm bells about this retake potential coming in.
Spike planted.
Plants now down. And Monyet is walking carefully, slowly, cautiously. Two players waiting to punish. All eyes turn towards the site now. The Flood waiting to come back in. Alpha a mile away, but still here comes the pressure. Jemkin clearing Cushy there. He needs to speed up. He might just make it back in time, but now we're in uncomfortable positions. The C's, the Warp, the Diffuse gets ripped away from it. Monyet wants to go back though. A 2v2 and Alpha completely unconsidered. Gets away like a thief in the night. Fnatic forcing it up to 12. I doubted the timing on it, but it worked out in the end.
And Fnatic were so slow yesterday. We know that they're so comfortable when the clock is running down, they still think time is on their favor. And for this round, at some point you might think it's a little bit overcooked. We saw Alpha so far, but taking such advantage of this advantageous 5v4 right at the beginning. Yes, the trades were coming in for RRQ. Are you really going to expect the Chronicle is pushing from behind with an Odin? You expect him to be playing from main and whatnot. Very good round, and now 7 rounds for Fnatic to close their map pick.
And already Monyet has fallen. Kayak, how have you found two so quick? Jemkin feels like a footnote in Kayak's story so far. A 12-5. It has been one-sided.
Jemkin had to show up in this round.
Yeah, and he sadly hasn't.
Kayak has to nade again. Got everything for a Kayak round.
Waiting here though. Again, I like this tempo from Fnatic, pausing for a second. And
Good
RRQ.
freezing. I think that they need this too. You know, you already have the advantage. Wait and see if there's a response for them. You have all the utility from Alpha behind you. You can rest assured.
Yep.
Somebody out.
Contact made. Xfero's got to be careful here. Doesn't take too much damage, but look at the util. Yeah, it's just such an easy punish for Fnatic when they tailor-make this sort of take. And Cushy falls. It's just too simple. Fnatic, I've got to say it, looking like they have a point to prove. Boaster up to his usual business, but the pacing, the tempo player